Hey, this is the Animal, one half of the world-famous tag team, the Road Warriors. If you want to listen to the greatest online action, listen to InYourHeadOnline.com. Don't miss it.
All right, and we are back. Now, this has been a 5-week hiatus for me. I think that's the longest I've ever taken off the show since we started in 2005. But I'm back, the internet icon, Jackie Jones here at In Your Head Wrestling Radio, and joining me right now, making his 6th appearance here on In Your Head, he's the master and the ruler of the world, the man from wherever he damn well pleases, Psycho Sid Vicious.
Hey, man, thanks for the great introduction. Does everyone know aware where you've been for the last 5 weeks and what you went through?
It's been on the Facebook page.
Right.
And I want to thank, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, they made a page, Heal the Neil. My real name is Neil. Most people know that. And it really meant a lot to me. So many people listen to the show, wishing me good, to get better. And not just saying that, I mean, especially when I was in ICU and stuff, that really meant a lot to me to see that.
Right. Well, I'm sorry that I just heard about it, but I told you a while ago, and I'm sure everybody would say the same thing I would say, is that, man, I'm glad you're doing well, and you sound great, and I just hope for the best for you.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. I saw my surgeon yesterday, and everything's healing up. I got a lot of wounds from the surgery and stuff going on, but I'm on a high-protein, low-carb diet, and everything's healing up, and also using this as a kickstart to get in better shape all around. So.
Well, good deal.
Thank you. Now, what have you been doing currently within wrestling? I know you keep in contact with it because you do the live Raw tweets. Right.
No, I'll tell you what we did here the last 6-8 weeks. There was a friend of mine, his name is LaFonce Latham, who he has this little wrestling organization in Osceola where they did a reality show there called Wrestling and Death. You might have seen it. I don't know. It was on WGN, and it was. He owns a funeral home, and he had a little wrestling promotion there. And the long story short, Moondog. He met the original Moondog guy 25, 30 years ago. They started this little tin building, and it's been there for that long, and it's it's got a little history to it. Well, they ended up getting a little reality show, and it got canceled. And when something like that happens to somewhere, you get that popularity, and then when it goes away, it's really tough. And he had called and had asked about trying to think of something, if we could think of something to help him get going again. Just an idea. And of course, it was just I thought, first it started off where Moondog started the thing. I knew that he had a good friendship with the guy. Everyone in that place loves that guy, Moondog. He trained them all. It's sort of funny too. It's like this little place is like a capsule lost in time. Now you got to realize this. They're all been educated by Moondog, which is nothing bad, but you got to imagine it if you know him, okay? And then the guy who he met, who runs it, has a funeral home. He's just a nice little guy, but he's just above being a tent evangelist, And so they got this great little thing there. It's on the up and up level, but it's no money. It's just as homespun as you can get, with those little quirks there where their education for the business has been from Moondog. And I'm not saying that in a bad way. You know what I mean? But it really is like a lost little place in time, just sitting there and not knowing which direction to go with it. We go in there once in a while. We did a memorial for Moondog, who, they all, like I said, they all have the most respect for that guy. And they said, well, there was a few people that had passed away there that done some, were, mainstays, and then they thought about inducted some guy named Jim something. I can't remember his last name now. And then before you know it, they all started wanting to all get themselves inducted. Before it was all over with, they inducted every one of themselves, So it turned out to be a really fun thing. The thing is, you find out about those places like that, they've been there, all those guys, 90 years old, they can barely move, but they're there every Friday night. It's truly just, me and a kid named Brandon Wallace, we did a documentary there, and it's been shown. It's called The Promotion. It's these people really just do it for the love of it, right? Mm-hmm. And on Friday nights, that when they walk through that door, they transform into these superheroes, which is just funny as hell because some of those guys can't walk, you know. Mm-hmm. But that's what we did. We did a little memorial thing for them, and that was more fun. I laughed my guts out. Seeing those people have such a great time. And then we started up a little blog during that time with the guy helping me, Eric did. His name's Brandon Wallace. It's funny, I'll tell you about it. The guy's just a great guy, but he's just slow as hell, man, about getting shit done. So we came up with a couple of hashtags, and I actually did this. And I'm not going to go into it because it's no one's business, okay? But my Aunt Joyce, she gave her whole life. Her mission was to, help the poor and to, work with Medicaid, Medicare to get people that needed things done, like especially the AIDS people. When she came in for doing missionaries, her first job as a nurse practitioner, she said, "Hey, we don't have anybody that handles AIDS," and they said, "We don't have an AIDS situation. We don't have a division for that." And she said, as a missionary, she says, "Well, I know what I'm fixing to do." She started her own little clinic. Long story short, it became a huge clinic. It's like it's a city block long now, and they do everything, get them housing, everything you can think of, from this little thing to this, Joyce Good is one of the greatest human beings in the world, okay? Mm-hmm. And so when we put something on a hashtag with her initials being Joyce for J and Good for G or whatever that is, if I put a story on that and put a hashtag, look that person up, because that person was probably somebody special. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And I did an interview one night at that memorial, and I said that what it wasn't just a coincidence, it was Black History Month. And I said a little thing about Rosa Parks in there, and believe it or not, there were only like 6 or 7, 8 black people there that night. One of the people came to me that night, and I told only 2 people about what I was doing about that, and, because I didn't want people to, I'm not trying to say I could save the world or tell people not to be racist, but I could say, little hints like that. Mm-hmm. Rosa Parks was, someone tired of being said, go back to the bus, and people argue with you that was okay, and that bothers me, But anyway, I'm not going to get into that. But so it's Black History Month, so I figured I'd do a little interview at that wrestling thing about it. And when I do things like that, I say, Joyce Good, meaning that was a good person, check that person out, and you might find out something cool about it. Then we got some, meaning when I was talking about Brandon Wallace, who takes his time about everything. That's what I was telling you, he just drags everything out. So we came up with this thing about him. If we came up with his initials, it would mean coming up a little bit short, because he's always coming up a little short. And one of the things that he's proud of, for whatever reason, is that also relates to the length of his penis. Now that's weird too. But those are some hashtags that we're putting on that blog. But because Brandon's so slow, we can't get this thing up to date. But with what I was getting to, Eric and Brandon, they're working really hard getting that website, the 2 of them joined together, and getting things where people can really see what we're up to and what get up to date on things we are doing. Matter of fact, Brandon Wallace is we're writing 2-part book. We're in the very beginning stages of it. Brandon's doing more like the memoir part of it, actual deal. Then we got a guy named Peter Zales who's helping us out. We're just in the beginning stages too right now. I'm not really 100% sure which way it's going, but it looks pretty good right now. I think it's definitely a little different than everything else,
Mm-hmm. That's very cool. And by the way, one of the links up on the website, it's Real Psycho Sid, and it's Psycho with the S. And
right.
Big thanks to Eric, actually, for setting up the interview and really plugging it
Eric's
everywhere.
A great guy. He did such a great job on that too, guys. On that ceremony for the we sort of ran the theme on those 4 weeks there. It's like the ghost of Osceola that maybe Moondog was showing up, or one of the other 3 people. Actually did a little skit there, and the kids were screaming. They were so scared. But it was a fun little thing. That's one of those places that, the audience between 8 years old and 80-year-old women, and we had just a good time doing that. But that was a little bit, the blog sort of stopped somewhere around that. We're trying to get it, of course, updated. I've just been so busy. Of course, that's not a good excuse, but I have one, right?
Exactly. You know, speaking, you mentioned earlier that he brags about having a small penis. Speaking of that, my co-host is back here, 1 Inch Biceps.
How's it going, Sid?
Hey, how you doing, man? Doing all right?
Oh, yeah, doing good.
Excellent, excellent. Now, you know, going from obviously huge arenas to being on TV to doing some of those smaller shows, seems like you have a good time doing them. You know, but what's that transition like?
What's that now?
You know, going from, you know, being on Nitro and Raw and pay-per-views, and now, you know, doing some, going to some of these smaller wrestling shows.
Well, this is, if you'll check out that documentary, which I was in, it was Melbourne Film Festival, I think it was last year, it was called MIFF. MIFF is Melbourne International Film Festival, I guess what it stood for. And it won first place, best documentary. Showed that right there, that, you know, how fun it can be in a small town. Had a pretty good cast. Had Scott Hall pop in there for me. Had Lord Humongous in it, which was a character I played before. Had a good kid from the local area named Poker Face, who is just a great worker. Was able to make this thing. It's funny. It's good. Mm-hmm. Actually, I've sent it off to the WWE, see if they're interested in distributing it, but haven't heard anything from them. Mm-hmm. You know, I guess it's not probably cool enough for them or something.
Yeah.
You know, but I guarantee you, it's funny as hell. It wasn't meant to be cool.
Yeah.
It was meant to be what it is. Mm-hmm. Pretty much, you can see most of it, you know, on the, and I didn't know this on those damn YouTube things, you know.
Mm-hmm. Now, speaking of WWE, you know, when we had you on before, it was, you know, you'd recovered from the injury, and
Right.
you'd wanted to, you know, have another run in WWE. It never, I know you made an appearance on Raw, but how did that ever get, like, close to you actually, you know, coming back to WWE for another run?
You know, I don't know how close it is or how close it was. You know, I really don't. And I'm going to leave it just like that right there.
Because, you know, not just because you're on, but to me it always just seemed a natural, built-in story guide from a real injury that you own.
I'll tell you what, it makes sense in like 2 million different reasons why.
Right.
You know, I mean, honestly, I mean, as far as business-wise, literally, I could really quick with like 2 seconds give you 20 good reasons business-wise. Mm-hmm. And I mean, really factual business-wise, you know, where we would say, well, this would, you know, they would make this, blah, 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 you know, it just would. And then just a lot of reasons. I think you see it happen a lot more now than it used to. I think they wanted to try to do that with Sting last year when they brought him back at WrestleMania. I think they wanted him to work that year. I really do. I think something happened. He got hurt or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with
I feel you know, when I saw that come about, I feel like that's what they were going to try to do with him. I don't know if that was something. That's just in my head. No one told me that. You know, I don't hear really the rumors. I was guessing on that part.
Yeah.
But it seemed like they were going to try to do something with him. They got hurt working with some guy. Then didn't really hear anything after that. You know.
Yeah. And it was great to see him on there. I mean, everyone loved to see it. And when I was a kid, like guys from other generations would come back. I remember watching Boston Garden, and Bruno Sammartino would come out of retirement to fight Macho Man. And it was something that always happened in wrestling, and it was, you know, it was
this is what you're finding out. It's real simple. You know, the wrestling thing, I guess they say, because, you know, it was an older demographics. Now, those guys that are watching it, say, for instance, or say guys that were watching it back in my day, so now they're turning it on to their kids. And, you know, that's what they're saying, but we see an increase in popularity or need. Let's just use the word need for that, more so than they did before. You know, I think that would be, you know, I think that's why they're doing that. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that's what they're doing that for.
Yeah. Now, we have a ton of calls. People have been calling in here, and they've been very good. They're staying on hold, so
Let's put them through.
Yeah, we're going to get to some of them here. Let's see, 405 area code. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's going on? I'm Matthew Groves. I'm in Nebraska right now, but I'm from Arkansas. Just wanted to ask Sid when I can come over and go fishing with him.
Yeah, man. And, everybody knows you got the stop pond back there. Just sometime you're around, if I'm here, just give me a call, and we'll do a little fishing. All right?
Yeah, I live in Wayne, so I'm close by.
Okay, man. It was good talking to you.
Thanks for calling in, Matt. Let's see,
Excellent.
850 your area code.
Hello?
Yep.
Hello?
Oh my God, it's an honor talking to you. Like we said, it is an honor talking to you, man. I wanted to say two things. Number one, it was awesome seeing you come back and kick Heath Slayer's ass on that one episode of Raw. And two, I respect everything you've done for the business. I respect all the bumps you've taken, and I respect all the pain you've done to entertain all the fans, and you've done a hell of a job doing that.
Well, I appreciate it, man. And that's and I mean this. I tell people this all the time. We say it all the time, and I'm not the only one, and I'm not the only one that feels like this. Is that when you take your time to say those nice things like that, those are the little things that which turn out to be the big things that make all those hard deals, like you said, going through the bumps and bruises, the days that on the road, stuff like that. That's what made it worth when I knew a few people like that appreciated it. And I knew that people did appreciate it. And sometimes it would be funny, guys, you'd be coming out to your car late at night, especially, we were at the Hills, and we'd get out the car and they'd go, "Man, Sid, you suck, man." And I'd go, "Yeah, I know, man, I suck." And then he'd go, "No, man, really, you don't." I go, "No, you said I did." And then he goes, "No, man, you're still out here, dude. You're here to sign my autograph." I said, "Well, no, I suck, But, that's what it's all about, I love that part of it. When you're trying to argue with them, "No, you said I suck, dude." But no, they love that part, when they, you made them happy, I loved it when people would give me, hey, free Dr. Kevorkian visits.
Yeah. Oh, man.
That was cool shit, man. Fans are cool, man. You're cool. Well, appreciate you calling, okay?
Thanks, man. All right, it's an honor talking to you.
Thanks for calling in.
Okay, make like Michael Jackson and leave, okay? I mean, beat it.
All right.
I mean, make like a tree and leave.
I don't know if you're that excited.
All right. Bye, man.
Take it easy, dude.
209 area code. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
Hey, it's Eric with Psycho Sid Promotions. Figured I'd call in since Brandon's coming up a little short.
There you go. What's going on, man?
What's going on, guys? Figured I'd call in and plug the site.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about what we're doing. Recently, we're doing a little thing. It's a little dirt sheet weekly called Ribbon on the Square. Nice name, by the way.
I like it.
You know what it means?
Yeah, it's like...
Tell him what it means, Sid.
Okay.
Let him tell us.
Me? You can tell him. It's your awesome name.
No, I know, but let him tell us.
Okay, yeah, Jackie Jones. Hey, congratulations, by the way.
Well, thank you very much. Ribbon on the square, that's a term, if you're basically making fun of somebody, but you're ribbing them, so it's quote-unquote not mean-spirited. But it probably is.
Yeah. It means if I say, "Hey, you're stupid," really I'm saying you're stupid. That's what Ribbon on the Square is like. Trying to be, "Oh, you know what? That match sucked tonight." "Oh, not really," but you were, saying that.
Yeah, just kidding.
So it's a different. A lot of people don't know what that means anymore. So we thought we'd use that, and it's been, of course, Eric's had a great time with those guys in Osceola. Evidently the ghost of Humongous Man took that one guy's bag and stole it and threw it away or something.
It's been a curse over there.
Yeah, it has been, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
anyway, I just wanted to plug the site over there at Psycho Sid Promotions. Recently, we're doing it over at Facebook.com/Psycho Sid Promotions.
Have you been, and it's been going real good when you and Brandon's joined up together?
Yeah, it's been going better than ever. We got squash matches going every day, fresh news. Everything's working good. We got all the hashtags going.
We're going to give constant update about the new book and everything.
Constant updates. I was hoping Brandon would call in because he's got some better news than that, but we got the official website up and running, realpsychosid.com.
Right.
And, that's up and running.
Mm-hmm.
And there should be a Twitter page coming out soon. Right now, we're using the Psycho Fanatics Twitter page for now until the new one comes.
Yeah, we're going to get a new one of those, too. We're we're going to get caught up and have a little fun with all this now.
Speaking of ribbon on the square, Eric, here in the chat room, someone did bring up that you sound like the poor man Scott Hall.
Oh, come on. A poor man Scott Hall. That's so funny.
We're a little aggressive. You know, like the Sid fans, we're like real loyal, but really misunderstood too.
Right. No, well, that's the way I am. But no, speaking of Scott Hall, what's he up to?
Do you know Eric?
Yeah, he's been poking his head around NXT a little bit here and there. That's all I've seen. I don't know much. I heard him on an interview the other day. He was comparing Roman Reigns to the Lex Luger Lex Express.
Oh, that's right. That's right. How failure it was.
There is a lot of similarities there.
Well, I think Roman Reigns, honestly, just watching a little bit on TV, he's over. If anything, he's at least over better than Lex was, you know.
Yeah.
I don't think Lex ever got over, you know. Not that, you know, I would never, just for a little bit of it, and then when I came in at the end of it, it was over with, you know.
I wish the best for him. He's had his chance, but it's just not working. That Roman Reigns guy.
What kind of advice would you give to someone like that who goes out and the crowd just doesn't, you know, accept him as, like, you know, that guy on that level?
You know, the thing about it, it's a tough call to make because you're not there. You don't know everything that's going on. You don't know what the guy, if he really had a chance to get over, or this was done. Sometimes they do. Not say they being just them. Everybody in that position, people have to do things sometimes out of necessity. They just don't have anything else. They don't have any other choice. You know, I thought the guy was getting over pretty good. And I don't watch a whole lot of it, you know. But every time I tuned in, everything I saw him in, he looked like he was aggressively, progressively getting over and over, and the people get behind him. It just seemed like I never got an idea where it was going. You know, that's the only thing I was missing on it. Mm-hmm. You know, I hate saying this too, but I know that coming out of the audience thing, and not this matters at all. I wasn't even doing live TVs. I was just walking in at TVs and beating people up when I first went to WWF, and I thought, man, wouldn't it be cool if I came to the audience like that? Vince said, that's the stupidest thing I've heard. You know, of course he's doing it. No, Diamond Dallas did it too. I just not that I think there's a cool thing to do. It's just I don't know how to do it after somebody like Dallas did it. You know, I think it might have tarnished it a little bit. You know, I don't know.
I want to ask you something real quick too. Is just you know, he's supposed to be the big babyface guy, and the crowd's turning on him. When you were in wrestling, a lot of times the crowd would cheer you even if you were the heel. Did that ever make you guys change how you were doing the match? And did any of the baby faces ever get mad about that?
Well, you have to. What it was, you have to be able to, like, for instance, when I was a heel, up northeast or in, certain places, California, you'd be a little bit, baby face, and you. For me, if I was a baby face, like, and I did this just recently, working with these guys, the LA Hustlers in Osceola, we were baby faces in Osceola, but the next night was like sort of their little hometown. We were baby faces, but the people were cheering them. I got in and sort of changed the match and did it where I got into a test of strength where he got me down, and I let them, do a number on me a little bit, It was weird. I love LaFonce and that guy Harry. They're all great guys, but they're in that little time capsule. They were like, wow, that was cool. Why'd you do that? Well, I said, because it's, once in a fucking lifetime, these guys get to be cheered. This is their whole town. Go ahead and do a little something. Just don't drag out horrible, boring, like Harry's. This is almost like being in that movie Jim Morrison. I thought I was on acid when I hear this guy Harry talk. So we're talking about the match. He goes, yeah, dude, I love to fly. I love to go around, make the people happy. That's my thing, man. I love doing my thing, man. I was thinking, you motherfucker. It's like, are you kidding me? Did I just talk to Jim Morrison? It's just like, but that's what I'm saying. Guys like that don't pick it up. They'll do those 400 spots and the crowd's going the opposite way. Just change the match a little bit, Sometimes you do have to do that. If not, it could be just just a stupid match.
Hey, by the way, did you get any leads on that guy on Raw that had the sign that worst champions?
It said what now?
Because I saw you tweeted about it and had a still photo of it. It was the guy on Raw, and he had a sign that said the worst champions, and it had Reigns, and it had you number 3, and you said anyone who can get me some information on this guy.
I don't really recall that.
It was just the other night on Raw. So it was just kind of funny, I thought.
Yeah, I'm of course I don't know everything that goes on.
Yeah. No, I mean you tweet. Well, you might have retweeted someone who posted.
Well, no, I don't tweet. That's the thing.
So it's not. I see.
You gotta watch out with the fake accounts out there. There's a lot of fake Sid accounts on that Twitter.
I see.
I've never tweeted. Now that's something everybody knows that too. I don't do that. So it's like the thing is I don't know how to the way I address that, man. I don't hold that guy. I don't mind what he's doing one bit. That's his idea, his opinion. I know when I went to check into getting, say, all these different names one time. This was a long time ago before it was really popular.
Yeah.
Everybody, even my own name, Sidney Udi, was taken. And hope that that you'd try to buy it from them.
Yeah. Right.
So it's like wow. So. That's just how that goes, and to me, I've not ever heard anything that I really thought was that bad. The guy says a lot of people think. As a matter of fact, Scott Hall swears it's me.
I thought it was you too, to be honest.
Because I know that's you.
He posts some funny stuff, so yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about it.
No, I don't. I like that's something Eric can tell you, man. I love funny stuff. I love funny.
Yeah.
Everybody's funny.
Yeah, everybody's funny.
I'm going to exit out, guys. I'm going to let you guys move on to some other calls. Thanks for having us, as always. It's always a pleasure.
Thanks for setting up.
Okay, dude.
Thanks for calling in, Eric.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks. This is a true story. There's actually a fake 1-inch biceps on Twitter.
Yeah. They post all kinds of great things about me, Sid.
They do?
I wouldn't believe it. Oh, yeah.
What do they say?
More so they make pictures of me, and I'm normally pooping my pants and stuff like that. It's terrible.
That's good.
The podcast marks, they're rough on me.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry. It wouldn't be. I wouldn't do that to you.
Oh, excellent. See, Sid Vicious is backing me up. Take that, podcast marks.
See, Richard from Montreal.
Cool.
Hi, Sid. This is a great honor for me. I've been your fan for many years.
I love Montreal. I love people from Montreal. If Carl Ouellette is listening out there, he's a very good friend of mine. Hello, Carl.
Thank you very much. Sid, who did you click better with, Brett or Sean?
You know what? I think Sean's a lot easier guy to get along with. Man, he's just, I like them both a lot. Don't get me wrong. I didn't hang out with either one of them very much. I sort of, my lifestyle was a little different than everybody else's, and everybody knows that. But as far as in the dressing room, and now as far as being in the ring, I'd rather work with Sean. He's just a lot more fun to work with.
Cool. And Sid, how fun was the War Games?
War Games, I thought was, matter of fact, me and Eric were talking about it the other night. That's something they should bring something back like that. Cage matches are sort of silly gimmick matches anyway, but that one was a pretty cool one.
I was always a big fan, and I've heard rumors lots of times that they were going to bring it back at different times, especially when the different factions are around with Triple H. But for some reason, it's never happened.
Right.
I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's because it's not their concept or if it's.
I never thought of it, but sometimes we hear that if it's not their concept, they don't want to do it. Mm-hmm. I just don't understand that about. Okay, thank you, buddy.
Thanks, Richard.
Thank you, Sid.
What were you saying there? Well, kind of like yourself when you came in instead of Sid Vicious, you were Sid Justice.
Yeah. No, I don't understand that about business guys. I'm in the philosophy if things work, do it. Mm-hmm. I saw ESPN the other day they were talking about Dana White, the promoter of UFC, I guess got mad at that Conor McGregor because he didn't show up for a couple of promotional things.
Yeah.
And so the guy coach, the analyst on ESPN said, he goes, I know one thing. I said, he goes, it comes down to, Dana White's a promoter, and I said, smart promoters, I worked for one named Vince McMahon. He said he would have had that guy in that fight. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They should have had that guy in that fight,
He's one of the biggest draws, and, you kind of like cutting off your own nose to spite your face if you, just because you didn't show up for the things that take him off your show. Because you're not just hurting him, you're hurting your show, It's the 901 area code. Who are you? Where are you calling from?
This is the Buzzkill.
Buzzkill.
Man, what do you want, Stumpy?
What are you doing, Sid?
Y'all, this is Buzzkill. He's I taught him how to wrestle. Actually, he didn't want people to know this because it's a weird connection. Ken Wayne trained him how to wrestle, and he didn't quite finish the contract. So there's an ongoing lawsuit right now with Ken Wayne Wrestling and Buzzkill. But we got him started there in Osceola. He's one of the big stars in Osceola, and we're looking to maybe probably get him in the Hall of Fame next year.
Well,
all right.
Buzzkill, what are you up to tonight, man?
Oh, man, just got back from the ball fields. Watching the kids play. Now I'm calling in.
Hey, y'all should have seen this. It was a great cage match. About 3 weeks ago, this guy was in with his partner, Lord Humongous. They did the old deal, and Buzzkill, guys, he went out on the limb, wasn't supposed to do it, and he got color. Man, the kids were crying. Everybody was crying. It was a good night that night. Everybody had a really good time.
Nice.
That was a pay-per-view match.
That was a pay-per-view match, that's right. Well, man.
Good match.
We're glad you called in. You got any things you want to talk about?
Man, I just...
Are you a family man?
I'm a family man.
Hey guys, listen. We could be going down the road, and I go, look at over that. I'll say something about, hey, let's go to Memphis and get a beer. He goes, hey man, I love my wife. I'm married. I didn't say you had to go have sex with someone. I said, let's go have a beer. Oh man, I love my wife. I go, okay.
I'm a family man. I want to stay married.
There you go. All right then, man. Well, yeah, he's a fireman when he's not wrestling, and him and his tag team, they're called 24/7 because he's a fireman.
Really?
And
right.
Yeah, he's really good. Of course, Stumpy, where are those videos that people can watch you on?
They're on the Facebook. I think they're even on Cycle Sid Promotions.
On Cycle Sid Promotion Facebook?
Yeah, Eric put them on there too. So
do you want to tell everybody how to get in touch with your Facebook?
Just look up Stompy Brawner. It's under Stompy Brawner.
Right.
Yeah.
And you'll make these people your friends.
Do what?
You'll make these people your friends.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I want all the women knowing this, that he's married and he loves his wife, so don't try to tempt him. He does have a fetish for midgets.
For midgets.
You do. You showed me that picture of that lady.
No, I said.
I'm not kidding, guys. It was like, oh man. But
Jack, get some midgets on the line.
There you go.
I said I'd wrestle a midget. I have no trouble.
Yeah, he didn't say it like that. No.
Quote unquote wrestle midgets.
Well, he's yeah. Okay, man. Well, listen, man. It's good to talk to you. I gotta talk to these other guests.
Thanks for calling in, Buzzkill.
I'll call you after we get off the show. We'll talk about tomorrow.
Okay. Take care.
Okay, you too.
Let me on the show. We'll see.
You're welcome, man.
Thanks for calling in, man. Itch Man, you got a question from the Facebook?
Yeah, Rupert Putkin. He wants to know, after the WrestleMania 8 finish when you kicked out and Papa Shango came out late, he wants to know what was the behind the scenes after the match was like, if it was an awkward situation, or did you say
You know
anything?
what? Not really at all. I don't remember it being awkward. I don't even remember seeing anybody. They came to me and said they were going to make me this big heel and blah blah blah. Of course, that story's been told 1,000 times. I told them, in Albany at whatever that was, Survivor Series or what it was, that I could only make it to WrestleMania. That I didn't want to go till then, and everybody knows that. I tried to shake Vince's hand, said, hey man, and truly guys, I just wasn't ready for a place that type of atmosphere. Not that it was great. I just wasn't mature enough,
Mm-hmm.
And that's just the honest truth. I wasn't ready for something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's okay. Now we're going into it knowing these are the rules that are played, and you understand it a little better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard too when you can go back somewhere else and get everything go back to like fairy tale. Life, you just get money every week. You don't have to worry about shit,
Mm-hmm.
To me, that was just a lot easier life.
Mm-hmm. What do you think would be like now to be in wrestling? Because if you left, like I don't want to do this anymore, I'm gonna go, but you knew like you could go somewhere else if you want to come back. Now there's really only one place you could go to. How different would that? Do you think that would make?
It doesn't change anything. You still got to work hard. You got to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
If no matter if you were being known in territory, this means the difference would be if you don't get over there and things don't work for you, there's nowhere else to go. You're done with. That's probably for everyone. That's the downside of the business today. If you don't make it now, man, it's just. Well, I mean, you show up one of these little independent things. I see some of these guys getting some type of notoriety for just being in the developmental deal. They'll get a couple months out, these little small shows, but there's nothing,
It does seem like right now, with NXT and a lot of the guys have come up more so than ever, especially in WWE, that smaller guys have a better chance of making it to WWE than ever before.
I don't know if that's the case. I mean, I don't know because I'm not there on seeing all the numbers. I just think I do know this as far as like everybody's a great worker from whatever size up to down.
Mm-hmm.
I just think what happens is this it's a numbers game, and when you're only choosing from, say, if you're choosing, let's use numbers that we can relate to. Say if I'm choosing, to fill a talent roster of 100 people of all different sizes and shapes, a lot different if I was pulling from 10,000 talent pool.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Talent pool's gotten a lot smaller. Only what they're bringing in. It's not like across the country. Not everybody's jumping in line to get in the wrestling business anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
That's a good point. Yeah.
Because everybody knows how hard it is, and it took a little while for that to really trickle down. But I think that's finally trickled down. If you understand what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's an excellent point. Why maybe not so much that they're looking for smaller guys. That's just the guys who are actually getting into the business. And
and I love a lot of these guys, man. Honestly, they're great. But man, it's just a lot of those guys just. I thought there for a little bit about a year ago that maybe some of these shows would, these shows that they were trying to get them on, these entertainment shows and stuff that would maybe, create star power for them, but it doesn't look like it worked out that well. Not all the way, but it's working, but not the way I think they were hoping it to work.
Mm-hmm. Well, what do you think? Like really big. What are the big a big guy who doesn't make it in NBA or football? What do those guys do now? Because they're not really showing up in wrestling.
That's something I don't know. You don't see that anymore either. People, I guess it's just you just don't see it. That's what happens when it's a numbers game, man. When so that means less people are interested in that wrestling business. People are like, remember that Dennis Rodman had almost every NFL player lined up to do these things. I'm sure they can still get it done, but every time I turn on the TV, those guys are at UFC fights now.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess that's a big topic right now. UFC is going into Madison Square Garden for the first time.
Yep. Are you a UFC fan?
I do like it. It's gotten a little, lost a little zing with me now. But unfortunately for that business, man, it's a really cutthroat business too. It's hell, you could be watching fights 1 month and then miss a month, and how they got a whole new roster because those guys, they go through everybody so fast. The only thing lengthens a guy's career there if you get a drug charge or something. There's a few exceptions, but those are less and less too.
If you call in, hello. If you call in, turn the show down in the background, please. But what's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Alex.
Alice, all right. You're on there with Sid.
I had a question for Sid, I guess.
Yep.
I had a question as to what's Sid's diet? What does he eat?
Just, honestly, I wake up tomorrow morning, I'll have 6 egg whites, a sweet potato, just things like that almost all day long, apples. Then I'll have a lot of meat too, but just got to eat a lot of good fresh things, and for me, I've got, like tonight, no kidding, I had 2 milkshakes tonight for supper, just to get my calories up a little bit.
Oh, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry to bother you. I just wanted to ask. Thank you.
That's okay. Thanks for calling in.
Thanks for calling in.
Have a nice day.
You too.
Let's see here. 870 area code. 870. Who are you?
Hello.
Hello.
Matt.
Matt.
Hey, Matt. What's going on, man?
What's up, Sid?
Doing all right?
Yeah, you know who this is, man. I just wanted to call in and say, what's up? I also want to ask you a question.
What's that?
What was your favorite city? I don't think I've ever asked you this, but what was your favorite city to wrestle in besides Memphis?
New York City was the favorite place to wrestle at, man. It was that was the magic place. Hey guys, I want to tell you about who this kid is, Matt McCauley. He's a really good. He's a big fan of the San Francisco 49ers, and for years he's gone to all the games. And when Jerry Rice was inducted to the Football Hall of Fame, he invited Matt, and Matt was there at the thing that night, and sent a picture of that to my phone, which I've lost. He's going to send me another one. He's going to the next Hall of Fame because the owner of the 49ers is being inducted, and he's also been invited to that as well. Guys, you've got a real star on your show tonight.
Excellent.
No, I'm not a star, man. You're the star. People know you more than they do the 49ers.
Well, how you been doing, man?
The world.
Yeah, hey, guys, he was also at that show, the Hall of Fame show, and that memorial. We also had that kid, Josh Murray, off of Party Down South. And it was funny as hell. He did the Rakishi to all the guys in the ring that night. Oh, man, it was funny as hell.
Yeah, it was good, man. I just wanted to holler at you, man. I don't want to keep you. I know there's fans wanting to ask you questions, man. I just want
Well, man, we're glad you called in.
Yeah, it's excellent for you calling, Matt.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, you holler at me later on the week.
All right, man, I will.
Okay, boy.
Hey, I just want to say one more thing.
Sure.
I'm single. I'm a family man, but I'm single.
Okay, man.
He's looking for some
All right, we'll let you go.
Yeah, so
okay, dude. No,
Might
he's
be looking in the wrong place here. But.
He's a good guy, man. He like he'd like to be, in Canton, Ohio, and Jerry Rice is being inducted to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, that's pretty huge.
Speaking of Hall of Fame, we have a question about the Hall of Fame. Have you ever been contacted by WWE to be in the Hall of Fame?
No, not at all.
Really?
Is it something you'd be interested in?
No, that's something I really want to talk about right now either. I just don't want to talk about that right now either. Right now.
Okay.
Will Bozarth here on Facebook wants to know if you enjoyed your time in ECW and if you have any thoughts on Paul Heyman.
Yeah, I do. I did have a lot of fun there. It was just a blast as far as working. Nothing made any sense, of course, but it was crazy. But I don't know. It was. If you think about the movie The Wrestler, that's what it was more like, than, I had fun there those couple weeks, a month I was there, wherever it was. Mm-hmm. But, you wouldn't want to be there for no long period of time.
Mm-hmm. It's, the last couple of years, a lot of the guys that, made their career in ECW and didn't necessarily go a lot of other places, it's been, the last couple of years, a lot of them have been passing away, pretty young. Even just a couple weeks ago, Balls Mahoney's only 44. He passed away.
That's something, too, guys. I'm not going to go into a lot, but that's a little bit, when I'm writing in my book, a little bit about this. I just don't think people know, for instance, how many people have passed away. If this many people passed away in any other industry, it'd be some type of congressional act. Mm-hmm. This doesn't happen, It's just something really bad, Mm-hmm. It's not just, it's a business, Mm-hmm. But, no, it's a tough deal, man. Just, I just don't even want to go into it. Just think about, just for 1 second, just think about where all those guys were moments before that happens, right? Mm-hmm. Just think about, I know a couple for sure stories where they were and what happened and how it went down. And just doing those 3 or 4 or 5 stories I know for sure, then, makes you, it's tough.
Mm-hmm. Now, obviously a big thing in the last few years have been concussions. And, people learn a lot about them. Did you have any or a lot during your career?
Not really. I really don't know anything about them. Don't mm-hmm. know what the symptoms. I don't feel like I've had any. Had Billy Jack Haynes call me. Said he was him and some lawyer from somewhere was heading this big lawsuit and had all these people like when the Road Warriors animal what was it Joe? Mm-hmm. Yeah, whoever. Anyway, named this big list, and I said, honestly, man, I'm not sure what they are. I don't feel like I've got any symptoms of any. I said, if any, I think I probably gave a few,
Uh-huh.
But really don't feel like, I don't think I don't show any sign of anything. I don't think I do, but I'm not a doctor either.
Right. You mentioned there maybe gave some guys some, and you mentioned earlier about I think Eric did about putting the squash matches up on the show. What were your thoughts, working with the enhancement talent, and did you respect those guys, and
Yeah.
What your thoughts?
Those guys really. That's the thing is, I'll tell you, like there was a guy named Lee something. He just worked his butt off, just threw his body out there every night. Sarge was one, a bunch of guys, mm-hmm. and I don't know what they got paid then, but it wasn't a whole lot. But I'd always give them at least what they got paid as well sometimes. And then, for instance, there was a case. But when you knew somebody did do it well and stuff like that, you always took care of them, because they deserved it.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know when we had Vader on, and he said it before, I don't know if you've talked about this before, but he had mentioned that you and the Warrior, that Japan had come to both of you before Vader, to be the Vader character. He had mentioned that you either walked away or they decided not to, either you turned it down or they decided not to do it. What's the actual story there?
No, they never had me for that. They brought me over to take the place of Bruiser Brody. Mm-hmm. And after I came back from my first tour over there, I saw him at WCW. And then that's what I did there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he has it out there that you were actually one of the people they thought of to be Vader. So.
No, it's 2 different companies, if I'm not mistaken. And then again, I was brought over there for 3 weeks early on the tour. I just sit there. I know what happened. I'd go to Sakaguchi's house. We'd sit there and look at matches all night of Bruiser Brody and how he ran through the people and beat the audience up. And that's what I did every night. Just, wreaking havoc on everybody. And that's what they were grooming me for. But, it was really tough way to make a living. And Ed Gilbert was the booker, brought me in WCW. He goes, man, they're offering you this much a week. We said, we're offering you that much a week here, but 52 weeks a year. Not 8 weeks a year. Mm-hmm. So that was an easy decision.
Yeah. Speaking of that, watching like Brody stuff and how he worked, who were some of the guys that you did like get advice from, or you did watch to work as like a big guy, as opposed, to an average size wrestler? Or was this something you picked up?
You know what? I don't know if I ever really watched a big guy and picked up any of the styles. I got picked up things from my top people, like just say like people like Vince and Pat and Ole Anderson, people like that had ideas, and not just them. Like one time Rikishi was called Fatu. He gave me an idea a long time ago. Going to do a choke slam. Stop for a second, look at the guy, then do it. Just little things like that you pick up from everybody. You don't just pick up from just one size person.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of that, like the little looks you would give, obviously is a big part of your character.
Right.
What do you think is if you just had to pick one aspect of being a wrestler that is the most important to be successful, would you say it'd be the charisma, look, promo, or the actual in-ring wrestling?
I think it has to be all.
Yeah.
If you get, that's what I tried to do. Is I wasn't going to, being, big as I was going to try to be one of the biggest people out there, and I was going to try to have one of the best interviews, and I was going to be able to do as much physically as I could for my size, and then I was going to try to have a mind, which I feel like I have, about as well as anyone's, and I'm pretty quick to say I think my mind's a lot faster and better than most people out there, and that's I feel comfortable saying that. So that's one of the strong. I think that's one of the things you have to have the mind, be able to adapt and be able to change on the fly. Mm-hmm. I think really that just you do it like we do, just repetitionally, just like anything else you do it in your sleep. Mm-hmm. Some second nature. It's not a big deal after a while.
Yeah. I saw a video of you online where you said when you first got into wrestling, you're a very low-key guy, which you kind of seem like that still, but that you were kind of, I don't want to say shy, maybe you said shy, but you were not necessarily comfortable on camera. When do you think, like you became comfortable on camera, and, how did that come about?
Just, one of the first things was like, Dutch Mantel, we were doing something. He goes, man, a big guy like you should have just in your interview go that when I walk, the earth shakes. When I speak, people listen, and just things like that. And then next thing I ran out of shit to say like that, so I started picking up books and started reading them, and I just started finding shit to say, And so when I went to an interview room, I just had just tons of shit to say, and then I use them into scenarios that we were talking about. I think that ability probably is as good as anybody in the business as far as interviews.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you have any thoughts on, say most stuff's scripted nowadays? Do you think that's better for wrestling, worse for wrestling? What are your opinions on that?
Well, I don't think it hurts. I don't think it's either. I think it could be better or it could be worse. If it's a well-written piece of material, and if you can, get it out perfect, which, most of the times, if you think about it, guys did get it out perfect, that did good interviews. Now, this is one thing you do see that everybody's interviews are a little more perfect. It's a simple analogy. You just pick up something, you read it 5 or 6 times, after you say it a few times, it'll either come to you like you'll see people second nature or re-rehearsed. I think that might be a little wrong with the business. It's too perfect. Used to when we saw a mistake, we go, wow, that might be real. Mm-hmm. Which we don't see that anymore, but I like that too. I don't like mistakes. I don't want to see mistakes, Mm-hmm. But again, I think on the interview thing, I think if it's a well-written interview and it's well said, then it's a perfect way of doing it. If it's an interview that's not written well and the person does it, as if he can do or she can do to make it, but the best they can do.
Was that around at all when you were in wrestling? Did
it
you
started
have
coming out? For instance, Vince Russo was, and there was a bunch of people. Michael Feinberg, I think, was one of the guys I seen doing it. A bunch of people were doing it, but then they wouldn't even. Now I'll tell you, once or twice I had Vince come to me with a great fucking interview that was just perfect, and for the moment we was doing it, man, it was just good. But for the most part, myself, I just did my interviews on my own.
Mm-hmm. Now you mentioned Russo. What do you think of Russo?
He's a good guy. He's a good guy, means well. He wasn't the savior, in this business, it almost, but he's still a nice guy, just not a great writer.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I kind of get that same vibe actually whenever I.
I would fucking hope so. It's how long has it been? He still hadn't had a successful show. I like Vince. Don't get me wrong, but it's taking you this fucking long to figure it out. God damn.
Well, I meant the nice guy part. He always seems very likable in any.
Yeah, well, fuck, nice guys. I can think of a lot of nice fucking guys. Stumpy's a nice guy, but he can't fucking get sex with his old lady. So what's that getting him? They call him the fucking penis devil.
Man.
But no, that's how that works, Things like that are pretty simple, guys, in the business. That's how it is or not, and that's how it is, and it's not that,
Mm-hmm.
But that's how that works on that.
Yeah. See, 901 area code. Who are you? Where are you calling from? Caller. 901. Speak now or forever hold your peace. Intri, you got another question from the Facebook?
I was just wondering it myself. You ever have any contact with TNA?
No, I don't even know who's running it.
Yeah, they're having some trouble right now, from what I've heard.
What's going on there?
I think they're trying to sell like half of the company or something, and Dixie's trying to keep control of it. So.
I heard that this is what I heard like a year or so ago, that that guy from Smashing Pumpkins bought it, and then then someone told me just a week ago, Stumpy said that the Harris brothers were taking it over.
Yeah.
Now the Harris brothers don't have the money to do that. That's more like an in-house angle or something.
Yeah.
I would guess.
I think it's a company they work for or something.
Right.
Yeah, I also heard something like the people who do the advertisement for them or something's wanting to get involved, but I don't know. I haven't heard all of the details on all that. But yeah, Billy Corgan, the guy from the Smashing Pumpkins, he's been on
writing team,
television and stuff here and there, and I think he comes up with kind of like a Vince Russo role.
I think he's one of the writers on the show.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, he's not an owner?
No, he's on the writing team, the creative team.
Oh God.
Which, if what I see on TNA is any indication of his creativity, it's not.
Oh my God.
Well, recently they've had some good stuff.
Yeah, that's a problem though. It's so bad for so long. It's hard to give it another chance.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just need to stop that. I hate to say that, man. That's terrible. That's terrible.
Plus the name itself. I mean, TNA.
Well, I was stupid enough to go back to the far side of the ring. Just stop it. Just stop it.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we got any more callers?
Yeah, let's get this last 901. You've got another chance here. I don't know. I think 901 apparently is from Memphis, but they're not getting through. Now, I know you said you watch wrestling here and there. Are there any guys on currently that you would either like to work with or you'd give advice to?
No, I'll tell you what. That's a good thing right now.
Mm-hmm. I'm calling from Marion, Arkansas.
Who's this?
Austin Gillis.
Hey, Austin. What's up, man?
Hey, Sid.
Doing all right?
Yes, sir.
Y'all, this is a guy. He's inspiring future wrestler. He wants to try to get to the WWE developmental school.
Oh, very cool.
Ah.
Well, Austin,
NXT.
how's that going for you?
Pretty good.
Good deal. Have you gotten any wrestling school yet?
Yes, sir. I went this Saturday, last Saturday.
Mm.
Good for you, man. Good for you.
If he wants a talent to emulate, I think he needs to look at the ZZ because he's he's just phenomenal.
No.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that guy's the next big thing. Well, hey man, listen, buddy, it's good talking to you. We're about to close the show up. Good, have a good day, and talk to you later. All right?
Thanks, Austin.
All right, see you, Sid.
Yeah.
But no, I think this is due. I do think about this about the talent right now. They've got a lot of. I mean, everybody in there are really good workers. I was watching that one guy, Del Rio's or something like that.
Alberto Del Rio.
Yeah, he's damn is he good. I mean, he don't do. I don't know. He's just got a range of things he does. I like that Bulgarian guy or whatever.
I'm a big fan of him too, Rusev.
You know, the thing about him, man, he's one of the first people in that one of those strongman gimmicks that's actually working better than the gimmick.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He's actually. I heard someone tell me this. It makes sense that he's just a good old Southern boy, but he's doing things like drawing the referee, getting heat. Like really working the ring, like he's really,
It's like
and I'm not saying
an old
but
school heel.
It seems like he's got a mind for the business a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
He's not just one of those guys just sitting around doing it. But he also did a good job of the other thing too, where he's just the big strong guy. But he's really elevated his game. I like that group of them together too.
Yeah, they just broke them up.
They really work good together. But no, they got good working. They got a lot of great workers and great. I mean, it's almost hard to get in for someone, say, someone like myself, for instance. Even it's hard for me not to be able to not get over in there because they got so much talent to get up, to do business with.
Mm-hmm. It's almost, I think, right now, the actual in-ring work is maybe more important than ever before. I mean, like I said, everyone on the card is like a great worker, pretty much.
Oh, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just unbelievable shit they do. Mm-hmm. I'm not shitting, dude. Some of the shit they're doing, it's just, it could do a lot of things for the right people.
Mm-hmm. Before I let you go, is your son still wrestling?
Well, we did that. He usually just steps in on those little things like that. We needed somebody to help do the Ghost of Humongous. His cousin, who's bigger than him, actually helped us out on that. And after we got done with that, man, we'd been doing that for 6 straight weeks, and they all got a little burned out. You know what I mean? He only does it for little things like that.
Yeah. Friday 13th is coming up next week, I believe. So maybe you should do something.
Oh,
for
really?
That. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm superstitious as a motherfucker.
Oh, really?
I'll be hiding somewhere. I'm not shitting you, dude. One time I was living in Atlanta, and my wife dropped me off at the airport, and it was Friday the 13th, and my gate was 13. I almost didn't get on it. I'm not shitting. I was thinking, what would they say,
Mm-hmm. And you main evented WrestleMania 13, didn't you?
I know.
That's kind of funny now that I think about it.
Yeah, I had to put that jabroni Undertaker over.
I think he might go places. I think he's got it, but we'll see.
He'll be all right.
Yeah, exactly. And one last question, because he's coming up next week, Teddy Long. Any memory stories of Teddy Long when you were with the Skyscrapers?
Yeah, he's a funny little guy, What was we all say, for instance, that was really other than Danny and nobody really knew anything. We were all just fucking happy to be there and have a job. Mm-hmm. He didn't do anything groundbreaking. Sometimes he really thought that peanut head was like the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'm not shitting you, man. You're thinking, and this is the thing is, and not just him. But people that live their lives that, you know, for that one thing they could get, you know, I mean, we come back and, you know, this is the thing is, guys, when we come to that dressing room, to the curtain after performing, we want somebody to go, hey, man, damn good, you know, or something, you know, and they all go, they couldn't say, you know, you did a good job, whatever, because he's just a manager, so they'd go, hey, man, they did that peanut head. He'd wipe that sweat off his head. He'd go, yeah, man, they got that peanut head, you know. But it was funny as hell. But he never got over it. No, he's a funny dude. Me and him made some road trips together. I ain't shit, you know, I'm just a dumb little boy from the South. I pull over, and he's at left his car some exit, and shit, there was like a fucking helicopter at the, you know, flying over the store. A drive-by just passed by. I went, shit, you know. But no, he's a good guy. Loves to smoke his weed, man. He says he doesn't, he's lying. And he smokes, think about it, he smokes weed, seeds and stems and everything. Like that old dirty weed, you know.
Doesn't waste anything, does he?
I know he don't, man. I hope he at least grinds it up now.
We'll make sure to ask.
Yeah, no shit, you'd be smoking to be popping like, you know, a fucking thing of black cat firecrackers. Pop, pop, pop. He go, oh man, this is good shit, man. He'd be so fucked up.
We'll make sure.
All right, dude. Well, I hope I didn't get myself in trouble with him.
No, I think you'll be fine. He might be coming looking for you. I don't know. Peanut.
Yeah, who cares? Fuck that motherfucker. I can at least beat him up. You know. All right, guys.
It's been
I'll
awesome.
talk to y'all later,
back.
dude.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. It's been a great time.
Thanks for having us.
Excellent.
Hey, yo, say hello to the bad guy, Scott Hall. In Your Head Online Radio.